My name is Peter Bassler. I'm the Vice President for Camping and Outdoor Programs, which means basically I'm like the summer camp guy. I like to think summer camp and do summer camp, so this is the favorite time of the year, the most wonderful time of the year, at least for me. We have a fantastic group of volunteers that put their time and effort together to make our summer camp programs at Verdugo Hills Council as successful as they have been in these last decade that I've been here, and before that as well. So I wanted to introduce them really quickly. In the back, you've already sort of met Matt Concrete. He is the director of Rescue 911, one of the specialty camps for the Scouts PSA. Let's give him a round of applause. In the doorway back there, manning the teacher machine, there's Molly Germini, one of the directors. And Joy's wearing multiple hats. This is Joy Erickson. She will be the camp nurse at Cub Resident Camp and one of the directors for our Cub Day Camp program. Ryan and I were just reminiscing about coming out of COVID and being that first class of group that did National Camp School in person together in Irvine, right, the Outdoor Science School. This is Ryan Christopherson. He is the Council Aquatics Director. Gabriella Magana is our business manager. She runs the business, keeps the kids happy, and makes sure we have sugar and things. This is Miss Ellie Ortiz. She is the camp director and does fantastic stuff there. In the back right, if you couldn't tell, that he has a little bit of interest in range and target. This is Mr. David Case. And in the black tee with the pink hair, this is Kelly Bishop, and she is our assistant camp director for Cub Resident Camp. And she was camp director of the year 9 years ago when I walked into this meeting, so it's awesome that she's back giving us her time. Okay, so why are we here tonight? We've got 3 programs we're going to talk about tonight. I'm going to list them off. If you don't hear me say those programs, come talk to me because we're not doing pine wood or any of those other things tonight. So how many people do we have here tonight for range and target, which used to be called shooting sports? Who is here for range and target camp? 1, 2, 3, 4. I think you have a full house, Mr. Chase. Excellent. Range and target camp.
But I have to stay up here, sorry.
How many folks are here tonight for the Rescue 911 VSA Specialty Camp? 1, 2, 3. Oh man, I know there's 8 signups. So when we do the breakouts for specialty camps, we're going to go down these stairs. We're going to be in that little circle of chairs outside. So all specialty camps, when we do that breakout, you guys will head out there. How many folks are here for Cub Scout Resident Camp? Awesome. I have to tell you that both my kids grew up through this program. It is a fundamental program for outdoor camping and the basics of scouting. They're going to come away, if not physically taller, but emotionally taller, and ready to tackle more things and have that fantastic experience. This is one of those life-changing things we do in scouting. It is amazing, and I'm glad you guys have signed up for that. Now, last year, we had advertised 2 weeks of Cub Scout Day Camp. I didn't get enough sign-ups for the second week, so the day that we canceled the second week, everybody went, oh man, I wish we had a second week. I was going to sign up. So, you guys are awesome because we have great sign-ups already for both weeks. Thanks so much. Cub Scout Day Camp. Who's here for Cub Scout Day Camp? Excellent. Okay. So the way we like to do it is all of our Cub Scout programs are going to be in this room when we do our breakouts, and those camp directors will talk to you collectively. There's a lot of things that go on in Cub Res and Cub Day Camp that overlap. So there's parallels and then there's differences, and I'm sure they'll get into that. So talking about things that are parallels in all of our summer camps. Let's start with medical forms and medical check-ins. And how many of you guys are familiar with the formerly VSA, we don't have a nickname for it yet, Scouting America medical check-in form? How many of you guys are looking at me with no understanding of this form? And how many of you guys are going to Cub Resident Camp in a week and a half and need to have this form? All of you, yes. If you're going to Cub Resident Camp. So, this is Form A, B, and let's talk about C, shall we?
Yes.
I'll start off with, if your child is only going to day camp, we just need forms A, B1, and B2. Fill them out as thoroughly as you can, and make a copy or print off the ID card. Like, I don't have an ID card anymore, so I just took a screenshot of what was on my phone and printed that out, and that's what I put in for my family. If you don't, I mean, it's easy for the kids to get the immunization record. The big thing is we need the years. We're not the vaccine police, but it is important to know if your kid has had a tetanus shot or not and what year it happened. That's the most important, because if something happens and they go to the emergency room and it's the kind of thing where they might need a tetanus shot, it's better to know they've had it than to end up having to do all the extra stuff if we don't know one way or the other. All right? Then Form C must be completed by a nurse practitioner or a medical doctor or a DO. And I'm in school to become an FNP, but I can't sign these off yet. So you need to make sure to get your kid into the doctor's office if they haven't had an appointment in the last year and get this signed off, filled out. Yes?
Can you go to urgent care?
I didn't specify what doctor's office. There are lots of places. You can go to urgent care, you can go to Minute Clinic, you can go to Target Clinic. It doesn't have to be with your pediatrician, but if you've had a physical within the last 6 months, 6 to 9 months for your kid, you can probably call them up and say, hey, can I get you to fill this form out? I know some pediatricians' offices are now charging extra fees for forms, so you might actually be better off going to Minute Clinic or urgent care or the Target Clinic, and just they'll do a quick physical and ask if your kid has any health problems and sign it off and charge you the fee for doing a sports physical. If you have any questions or concerns about being able to get that done, we can talk separately later. Make sure they, I will point out, they don't have to have their genitals looked at. Like, they can just put deferred on that. Sometimes if doctors haven't seen these before, they're like, wait, what? Do I need this? Do I need that? Wait, did your 7-year-old going scuba diving? No, there's stuff on here that doesn't apply to Cub Scouts. So if they see all this stuff about high adventure and, you know, the height to weight ratio doesn't matter for Cub Scouts, but if they're like, wait, what am I supposed to say? It's okay, my kid's going to a camp near Castaic, and this form is geared to everybody, from the kindergartners up through the adults who might have serious health problems who are going to be in the backcountry of New Mexico for a couple weeks. So that's what that's all about. Usually they'll just have you put the name and birth date at the top. They'll fill out the rest. Make sure they sign it. There are some things, like I got one, the provider had forgotten to put the date on it. I was like,
big deal.
That's a bit of a problem, but I took it upon myself to just ask the family when they went, and they're like, well, it was before baseball season, so it must have been November. I was like, all right. It's been within the year, that's good enough. I'm going to go ahead and put a date on it so that this form is not good indefinitely. But yeah, they should fill the whole thing out. My doctor forgot to sign mine, and then went back and was like, oops, wait, I didn't sign that. And then she accidentally checked the wrong column of boxes. But I will look at them intelligently, and if
So just to recap, if you're going to Cub Scout resident camp, you'll need A, B, and C. The C is the signature of a physician or urgent care or the letters that she was listing after the names.
A doctor or a nurse practitioner.
And you need to set that up before you go to camp, right? So on Tuesday the 17th, that morning, if you don't have that in place, you're going to be scrambling because we won't let you into camp without the C with a signature in place. You need that, okay? So that's just for you scheduling-wise and calling the doctor's office and getting that organized. If you haven't done that, this is important to do now.
I do have time to do it because for the past few years I've scrambled and gotten my whole family taken care of at the Target Clinic at the last minute. For the specialty camps, same thing. You need Part C, and if your kids are going to summer camp with their troops, they're going to need it for that too. Get it done this weekend or this coming week so that you're all set when you show up at camp to check in with me.
The other thing that's on this form is in the small type on the front. There is a photo release on here. It's right here in the small print that my bifocals can't even. Right. So once you sign it, if you would not like your pictures of your youth to be used on promotional material, because we do videos and so forth, if that's something that's important to you, what we've asked in the past is just write it across the top here, so we can keep track of that as we're sorting. Because we
write no photos.
No photos, just write it right on there. It's super easy for us.
Yeah. But I'll go over it with you and check. Like, there's one little checkbox that everybody forgets. I'll ask if it's okay for your child to have over-the-counter medications. I just restocked. We have chewable, Tylenol, ibuprofen, and allergy medications just in case they're needed, plus topical creams and stuff like that. And I have to have your permission to give them anything other than a popsicle and an ice pack. So we will definitely clear that up when you check in at camp.
So if you're going to Cub Scout day camp, anybody who's just doing Cub Scout day camp, excellent. So you don't need the seat. You don't have to set up that. And it's just you're basically doing your history of your youth. And Joy started to get into it, but I'm going to hand her this.
Oh, yes. The other thing that goes right along with this, here's what I've always sent their son's meds along to show. It makes life easier if all of your child's medications that they need, it could be over-the-counter or prescription, whatever they need that's a medication needs to be dropped off with me in the health office. And since they're kids, I will track them down and find them and make sure they take their meds and sign it off on my form. Now this is a prescription, so it has the instructions on that. So I don't really need it written on here, but it's really important to have their name. And then any over-the-counter stuff or anything that I need to know that might not be on the prescription bottle, write it on here. Like if you crush it and put it with applesauce or something like that. I'm a pediatric nurse. I'm used to all the games kids play to try to not take their medications. That's why I got chewable medications. So, yeah, if you have a Ziploc bag, whatever size is necessary. We did have a kid who had a whole box of stuff. And, yeah, we'll make it work. But if you have it all in one bag with their name on it, and when they take it, that would be great. Yes?
And it needs to be in the original container, so it was a counter and prescription.
Yeah.
In the original container.
Right. So please don't put their name on it and then give us a whole bunch of loose pills. Because then we will give those back. We're not going to do that.
Yeah. Now, if it's individually packaged, a lot of times you buy over-the-counter stuff, and if each one's individually labeled, and you only want to give me 3 of them in case you forget to pick them up at the end of the week, that's fine. Because that's still labeled what the medication is. All right. Any questions about that?
All right. If you have any questions as the night goes on, find Joy any medical questions. Okay. Excellent. Thank you so much. All right. I'm going to introduce Gabriella Magana, who is our business manager. She's going to talk about the most popular area in camp.
Where all the staff want to work.
Kitchen, yes, the kitchen. She's going to talk about.
So just to get a show of hands, how many of you have gone, or your scout has gone to camp and know about training posts? Okay, so a good number. And then if there's any of you who have gone to our CDO events like Rocket Academy, you've seen our training posts there. It works a little bit different for summer camps. It's actually a cashless training post. I just don't want kids coming in with their quarters and their pens. So when you register your scout, you're going to get a little passport that you're going to stop at all the different stations. One of them is training posts. So when you come to training posts, you will leave money for your child to spend during that camp. And this is also for the specialty camps, the older kids, because they all like training posts. So when you come to the training post, we will take your cash or your check. We will also have a square card, so if you want to put it on your credit card. And you will tell us how much money you want to leave for your scout. The most popular question is, how much do we leave? Well, it's really up to you. We try to make it as affordable as possible. The toys will all be $1.50. It's hard to keep them at $1 now, so for the last couple of years they've been at $1.50. The most expensive things will probably be about $2 because full-size candy bars are getting expensive, and so are drinks. Our margins are very small, but we really don't care. We just want kids to have a great time. So when you come to Trading Post, you tell us how much you want to leave, and some parents will say, I'm going to leave $10, but I don't want my kid to spend all $10 on day one. So you can give us a goal, or a limit. You can say you can only spend $3, or it's up to her whatever she wants to spend. And it's just whatever you as a parent feels comfortable and what you and your spouse are going to work through. Are we having a rotation for that?
Yes.
Yes, okay.
Yes.
So, are you up?
Can I talk about?
Yes.
I want to mention one thing that
Yes.
that Gabriela mentioned. But if you decide to not leave a daily limit, so when mine were little and I would put $20 down, it was $5 per day. Way more than they needed at the time. Things were much less expensive. If you do not leave a limit, we may decide to give them a limit. Because we have had kids in the past who have come in and said, my mom left me $100 every week. Dear God, that is way too much. Don't give me a comment, I love it if you did that, but not gonna lie. But then they want to spend $40 in pure sugar. So we're not gonna let them do that. We do have youth staff that work in the Trading Post. We'll have an adult running in and out of the Trading Post all day long. We just do not have rerun of money buy all the sugar all the time. So we do limit what they can have at any given time, because the 200 pixie sticks that one child bought one time was more than we were okay with, so we refunded this money and got those pixie sticks back.
And then now and later, the doctor said,
He's the doctor, he's allowed. So just so you know, it may happen that your scout comes to you at the end of the week, hey, good luck, you spend it all in one day. Correct. We did not. Part of it is them learning to budget themselves. It is a learning process. This teaches that instant gratification is great, but you know what, we're going to leave a little bit for the next day. So just to give you a heads up, we may decide to institute that for them.
And what I was asking about the rotation is kids, especially the ones at resident camp, will have a schedule where they will rotate through the different sections, similar pretty much in day camp, but there's a section specifically for them to just relax, enjoy Trading Post, enjoy a snack, because otherwise you get all kids in there and it's a bit chaotic. Are there any questions about amounts, what kind of trinkets we're going to have? We do have, in addition to the candy, we do have little crackers, little cookies, and things like that. They're not the most popular items, but we do have them there for them to pick from. Any questions on that?
I know that when we go to the Cub Breakout, that Ellie's going to talk about Camp Mail, but if you want to mention it briefly, we do that in the specialty camps as well, because a lot of our Scouts BSA have gone through the Cub program, and it's something that they love. The Trading Post is a great spot if you want to get stuff for Camp Mail, or bring it up. Don't mail anything to camp, because we're only there for a short period of time, and it'll all arrive after everybody's left. And please don't fill your camp mail with just sugar and chocolate and peanuts and things that the squirrels and the chipmunks and things will get into.
So Ellie, we'll talk a little bit more about that, but just in general, we do have mail where you can, if we're going to resident camp, for example, you'll get into more specifics, but resident camp, they get their Tuesday, so we have Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, so it's 3 days of mail. You don't need to bring mail every day, but I'm telling you, the kids really love it. It doesn't matter if it's like one Jolly Rancher, but when they get their name called, they run up there. We've had years where there's so many that older kids bring it out in a wheelbarrow. So just a little something. And where the Trading Post comes in, if you're busy and you didn't bring anything, you can pick up something at Trading Post. You can get some candy. You can even, try to have notes or something for a little note. Ellie will talk about notes that you don't want to include. You know, like, I really miss you, I can't wait for you to come home. You don't want to do that. But she'll give you more specifics about that. But mail is definitely something you want to bring. And we usually try to follow whatever you bring for them. So if you bring an envelope with your scout's name and then you say Tuesday or Wednesday or Thursday, we give it to them in that day. I know there's parents that kind of like a progression of things or letters or whatever. So yeah, that's trading post. If there's no other questions, then I'll turn it over to you.
And guys, if you have any other questions, Gabrielle should be here all
Yes,
tonight.
I'll
Just
be
catch her. Awesome. Okay, the next person I'd like to introduce is Ryan Christopherson. He's our Council Aquatic Director. He's going to talk about the swim check process to swim at Camp Verdugo Oaks.
Yay.
My name is Ryan. I'm the Aquatics Director. My assistant is Senior Lifeguard Jeannie Ortega. The pool is probably one of the most popular spots at camp when it's 100 degrees outside. Minus the kitchen.
That's always my favorite.
We do encourage kids having fun and adults having fun. It's a relaxing place for them. But there is, unfortunately, rules for them. We call it the classification. Swimming classification is not a test, but it's an ability where they're going to be placed in the pool. There are 3 places. There's a non-beginner, aka learner, because everybody has an opportunity to learn. Beginner is the middle section, and then the deep end is for the swimmers or people who think they can swim. The beginner classification is going to be, can your kid swim with a head above the water? It doesn't have to be an Olympic swimmer, because even though it's 3,000 up in the air or 50,000 elevation, kids just struggle. For swimmers, it's a little bit of a longer test. It's 100 yards in the pool. They have to do that without taking any breaks, and their ability to swim is a little better than a beginner. They have all week to take that test. It's not like one shot and they fail for the rest of the week. I don't have failures in my pool. They can do it if on Saturday they come into camp or Sunday they come into camp and they don't get it until Wednesday. That's a big accomplishment for them. Is that pretty much it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I will give Ryan a great compliment. He does a fantastic job, and our pool looks great and it's very, very safe. And has been. This is his last summer, and so we're going to be doing a lot of those this summer with legacy people that have been there. The greatest compliment I'm giving him is we did a check-in maybe your second year, and one of the young ladies walked to the far end of the deep end of the pool, and then the lifeguard said jump in, so she jumped in and went straight down to the bottom, did not come back up. And his staff jumped in, got her out immediately. And then said, "Why would you jump in? And you're not a swimmer." I said, "Well, just jump in." So that was a literal. But a great job on, and he does just a beautiful job keeping our camp facility, our pool facility looking good, and runs a great tight ship there.
So part of the test is, yes.
I want to say, my son is the one that, sorry.
No, yeah.
One of my boys is the one who jumped in, didn't really know how to swim very well. Good kind of doggy paddle. And that was, he got there early because I was on staff, and you got him to swimmer by Wednesday afternoon. And my daughter did the same thing by Thursday afternoon, the following week.
So the test is you have to jump feet first in the deep end. If they're not comfortable with water, we're going to start them on a shallow. It's more like, hey, let me put my toes in there and see if the water's still wet. And then if they're really uncomfortable, then we'll just give them an opportunity to have fun in the pool still, but on a more shallow end. Part of the test is can you float, and can you float without sinking. So it is a not a painful test, but it's a struggle for some, especially when you got elevation of the camp. So you have all week to be successful.
The only thing I want to add is that if your scout is a non-swimmer, or a beginner, they're still going to have a very good time.
Yeah.
Because most of the time, the swimmers and everybody else ends up in the non-swimmer. That's the fun part. So just don't let that discourage you. My daughter, she's a swimmer, but one year she just went. She was cold. She didn't want to get in the water, and she was in the non-swimmer for like the first 3 days, and then when she was ready to. So don't let the swimming discourage you or your scouts. They're going to have a good time, and they're going to be watched by really great staff.
And the key thing is we do put a canoe in the water, and we do lifeguards canoes. And they're paired up with me and one of my staff members so they can have fun, regardless if they know how to swim, or if they think they know how to swim, or somewhere. Other than that, we'll have a good week.
Thank you, Ron. If you guys have been to any of our weekend club activities, Honton or Rocket, you know that Kelly is one of those folks that has a big smile on her face and is in the kitchen serving food and preparing food and stuff. She's going to talk a little bit about food allergies at camp.
Okay, so Sarah and I probably will be in the kitchen too. First off, number one thing is our menu is geared towards kids and making them happy and getting them to eat. His son was the pickiest eater on the planet and now eats anything at camp all the time. So it's really good. We really work with the kids on it. If you have any kind of allergy, we deal with the gluten, the lactose, we deal with vegans, vegetarians. We just need to know. If we don't know, we don't have it in stock. We don't keep those things necessarily there. We're so careful with it so far, knock on wood, whatever, my head, whatever. We've not had anybody have a problem with it. If there's a severe food allergy or need, you can come see me about it. Make sure that it's on your med form, because from the med form, I get the list and I go over it with Sarah. My other job as assistant camp director is I make sure that everybody is following all the rules. And there's like 900 some odd rules that I'm not kidding, but it's important and I'm very proud of it. We get accreditation every year, which means that we have met the standards for scouting and we've met the standards for the LA County Health Department. Okay, so we take your kids' safety super seriously. You're leaving them with us. They may not come back clean. I guarantee you.
There's no way that's going to happen.
I
Seriously.
mean, if they're you're standing with them every day.
Yeah, you know. But we really do take their safety on the ranges, in the pool and in the kitchen and everything that we do. We make sure that they're super safe, and that's my little job, is to make sure all the T's are dotted or I's are crossed or whatever. So yeah, I said that wrong. But anyway, but we do it with fun, okay? And we take good care of your kiddos. So if you need anything, let me know for food, allergies. I'm on, including we can have, and it's very subtle. We don't like, oh, hey, you, gluten boy, come here. We're not like that. But in the training post, it can be an issue too. And so if we've had a boy that's had a severe peanut allergy, and he's lived through every single camp. So I'm super proud of that. We're very careful with it, so just let me know. We can make sure it happens and do it with a smile on our faces.
Kelly.
Yeah, what?
Well, we have dino nuggets this summer.
But we don't have what?
We have dino nuggets this summer.
I hope so. And the tender skater talks so that I'm playing with my food. It's all about the pterodactyl and the tater.
So as Kelly said, if you have any questions or concerns about the menu, if you have any concerns about dietary restrictions for your scout or Cub Scout, my son burst into tears because Miss Ellie said you need to have protein and put spaghetti on his plate. Mm-hmm. So we went from that to him eating everything in sight when he's working on camp staff. Literally, if it's not nailed down, he'll eat it. So,
Except for tomatoes.
He still is a bachelor, so none of my family eats tomatoes. All right, anyway, but seriously, if you have any concerns, questions, she's here tonight, please talk with her. That's why we're here. Okay, so folks, we're coming in as we started talking. I know most of you probably have your forms. There should be 3 forms that you have. One should look like this, and it's the camper release card. If you don't have this, raise your hand. We will find a blank and make sure that it comes to you. Let's find we have a few here. Let's find the blank ones. Does anybody have the stack of blank camper release cards? I have one in my hand. It's going back. There we go. There should be some more.
I'll go make some more.
Okay. Yeah, we'll make a few copies. Excellent. The camper behavior agreement form. We take this very seriously. We want you to have a conversation with your scout about what we expect at camp. And when they sign this, and we do have that problem, it's never a good phone call to make. I've done it as a camp director with parents. But then we have this signed form, and so we have a baseline to sort of start about what our expectations are. So this is very important. It's for all camps. Anybody who's coming to any of our camps, then we need one of these. Excellent. All right. I'm going to pass that back. We'll make an extra copy. All right. This is the latest and greatest target and activities release form. This is applicable to all of our camps except for, Mr. Chase pointed out, our specialty camps. So, the specialty camp folks, you'll get an updated one sent to you. It'll say updated and it'll include 22 rifles. We go off-site and we do not have a rifle range. We have a BB and pellet range, but we do not do that. We go off-site. You guys saw that great video. But if you are a Cub Scout, any Cub Scouts here tonight? Cub Scout parents, yes. So these can be signed and turned in. If you are in the Scout PSA program, do not sign this one. We'll send you an update. Anyone else still need this?
For anybody in Rescue 911, would they use this one or the updated one?
They're going to use the updated one. The updated one's versus those. So we haven't done a welcome packet yet for those two camps, and we'll do that. Yes.
But Rescue 911's not going to be 22s, right?
We're just going to do it to cover, so we're covered. Just in case. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Not for day camp.
Not for day camp.
Unless they want to come over to the better camp.
Now, for day camp,
Actually, it's worth doing that for day camp because we'll probably do Nerf guns or something like that, which falls under range and target, even though it's a.
And we do the whole thing. They wear goggles. They have starting. We're super strict with all that stuff. We start them off early. Training. Okay, so those are the three forms. Now there's a QR code up front that has the full welcome packet for both of our Cub camps, for Cub resident and for Cub day camp. Hit this QR code, and if you look at it tonight, you can see that the old target stuff will be in there. We have a couple things we're going to update, but this will be updated by tomorrow. Yes, Joy?
As soon as I get the digital copies of what I need.
Okay. So scan this. This has all of your information, has anything you can think of, and probably if it hasn't been answered tonight, also has contact information for anybody, all of the directors and all of those here. So if there's that question you can have later on, you're like, wait, what was that again? What did they say? You can reach out to us. We all love to talk about summer camp.
My favorite.
Yes. Okay. We're now going to break into groups. I'm going to make one mention in the back, and I'm going to let the Cub Scout folks figure out how they want to do that with your managing your time. We do have T-shirts here tonight, and so Cub Resident Camp and Cub Day Camp wear the same shirts. And one of the things that I will tell you is that they all look the same. That's done on purpose. We do have Sharpies. We'll put our names in them. What we do differently at day camp versus resident camp is day camp we like them to wear the shirts every single day, even though they get hot and smelly, because we want to keep track of them, and we're in an urban environment. And I'll let Ellie talk about for Cub Reds. All right, so we're going to do a breakout to the specialty camps. So your scout camps, your specialty camps, Rescue 911 and Range and Target, you guys will be outside, just right down here in the courtyard. And you guys can head down.
Ellie will go over. If you have any super burning questions, if you have any super burning questions that actually need the answer to before we get started.
My daughter will be, her birthday will be the Friday of the camp.
Awesome.
Anything that's coming later.
We will coordinate with you later, yes.
So, good morning.
Wait, you better work. Good morning!
It is always good morning. Afternoons and evenings are usually questionable. But in the morning, there are it's a good morning.
And it's you're usually not sweating first thing in the
Not
morning.
quite at that hour of the morning yet.
Your mornings are different than mine.
Yes. By the time I drop at night, and this has been for all of you, I'm done. Alright, so welcome to 2025 Summer Camps for Cub Scouts. I will say, I'm going to state now, because why not? This is my last year as program director. So, my plan is to go out with a bang.
And every year is always over the top, which is why she's always working on 3 hours sleep.
And only one of my kids is coming to camp this year.
No!
Only one. I know.
Which one?
Gracie. Gracie will miss camp. She is the Cub Scout size. She is. I found the best meme about her. My daughter is delicate. Not like a flower. More like a hand grenade. Am I wrong? For anyone who knows things, am I wrong? So, expect to see her at camp. She's fun. So, what do we do at camp? We run our resident camp and our day camp in the same schedule as they will see when they are in Big Scouts camp. We do that so that they get accustomed to that routine. So, like Peter said, we train them early for all of this. So at day camp, they'll come in on any given day. They will gather with their dens. And then
Gathering activity, everyone's just playing in the gym, and then we have our opening flag ceremony in the morning, which happens every day at resident camp, and then they rotate around to their stations.
And they go home.
Yes.
They will be covered in dirt, grime, paint, and a lot of substances you might not recognize. Big Bust was 1 year. We have that. That was a fun year. But day camp, they go home to you guys at night exhausted. You're welcome.
They will probably fall asleep in the car on the way home.
And then you bring them back the next day, and it all lather, rinse, and repeat all week long. For their t-shirts, for day camp, I would suggest you have at least 2 t-shirts so that you can do laundry every other day. Or don't even worry about laundry, and they will smell horrendous by the end of the week. But you know what? They have great time in those shirts, and it's okay. They all smell the same.
Yeah. And the staff smells worse than the cubs.
They absolutely do. Youth staff is amazing that way. For resident camp, 1 t-shirt works well. If you'd like to have a second t-shirt, that would be wonderful as well. We ask for all the kids to put on their t-shirt usually on Friday, because we'll do a big den picture and we do our camp pictures and all of that. And some of it's just nice unity. Some of them are covered in, again, those interesting substances by the end of the week, because we do not do laundry at camp. We do have the ability to, if there's an emergency. So if accidents happen, we can wash anything that's needed. So they're not just out in the wilderness like Lord of the Flies.
Close, but not quite.
Those 900 rules, remember.
Yes.
Because we've all read those 900 rules, so we told that line, but we do not cross it. So at resident camp, their den chief, who is a youth staff member, and the assistant den chief, who is a recently bridged youth scout. They are the ones who are responsible for their den. They will have an adult assigned to them, but the adult is handed, figuratively speaking, is handed a little spray water bottle to just keep them moving along. That's it. The youth.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll go with that.
Yeah, the den leader
That's not why I have it, but that's okay.
Yeah, the den leader makes sure they put on their sunblock and drink water and stuff like that.
So those youth members, part of their learning process and part of their resident camp experience is to take on that responsibility. So they are the ones who wake up the kids in their den every morning. And see how fun that is.
There's nothing that'll motivate a middle schooler to get up better than getting to go boss around some younger kids. They're not mad to this madness.
And we do have, this year, we will have the trident as the motivator. Whichever, at the end of every day, we pick one of the dads who has done amazing things all day long, most of the day long, and they get a trident for the next day. It is a spirit stick. They get to decorate it, they get to, bragging rights, we all like those. The first den that will get those will be determined by the youth staff who gets to camp on Sunday, and they do training on Monday, and their behavior on Monday will determine which den gets back on Tuesday. So it's on them too. Oh, nice. We birthed them. But it'll be the same idea. They get up in the morning, they come to flag, we do a full flag ceremony. So some of those requirements that are really tough to do or for adventures, they get to do at camp, and they do it as a den. So each den will have a chance to do the morning flag and evening flag. That way, everybody gets to experience opening the flag, having that breeze, blow those little ones right on back, and trying to pull that big flag for the end of the evening. They will do, each morning they do a different activity. We have one morning where they do den games, and that's just to get to know each other in their den. That's Wednesday morning. Thursday morning they do a conservation project. On Friday we have field games. Quidditch has been requested once again. That's not our game. So we had a 4-way Quidditch game 2 years ago, and let me just say, the golden snitch was not caught. Tracy was my golden snitch.
What was the activity Wednesday?
Wednesday they'll do den games to get to know each other. And then Thursday is a conservation project. And Friday they do a full camp field game. So some kids have been requesting Olympic games. Some have been requesting the relay races. We'll see. Quidditch is a strong contender. But I don't know if you were there for the Quidditch game. I think it was the year before you came. Yeah. It was a fun one though. After our camp-wide activity, we go through our rotation. They will spend one of those slots is at Aquatics. One will be at archery. One is at the baby range. They'll have a rotation at the nature center, which is really our catch-all for all the different activities. They'll go to the trading post. They will have scout skills. So those are very specific skills that are the things that the big kids do in bigger ways. So they will actually do a Dutch oven dump cake. They will make first aid kits. They will do all those skills. They'll practice some knots. No, they do not tie each other up. You don't know my children.
She's seen a lot.
That was my kid's favorite game growing up once he discovered paracord, tying each other up and who can get out of each other's knots. We shot with a kid. Then they go to Scout Craft. Scout Craft is where we get super dirty, we get all the paint, we get all the water stuff. Who here is an Arrow of Light parent? Whose son or daughter is going into 5th grade next year? Okay, so your kids are Arrow of Light now, or will be Arrow of Light at camp. Arrow of Light is a big deal to me. So they do an extra craft they get their arrow at the end of camp. Because it's a big deal, it's their last year at resident camp, they don't get to come back unless they're on cap. Good or bad, I mean, most of them want to come back in staff, which is fantastic. And actually, I just want to say every single youth staff member, except for one this year, 2, went through resident camp. One did not because girls were not allowed in Cub Scouts until she was a little too old for it. Actually, both of them. They were just at the tail end of it, so they never got to go to resident camp. Everybody else has gone through resident camp. So they've experienced it, they're excited for it. Some are probably more excited than the Cubs themselves, but that's okay, we love them anyway. So we have activities all day long, they will be exhausted. Every day before lunch, we have mail call. So any of the young ones in here, just cover your ears.
Earmuffs. Earmuffs.
You're putting on earmuffs. Sorry. I see you like her. We do mail 3 days a week. We do Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. The only request is please no chocolate. Chocolate melts, and we don't give the temperature at any given time at camp. It is always very hot. It is scorching. It is burning hot. We make up any euphemism we can to describe the weather without actually giving them a number, because nobody wants to experience those numbers.
Anything that could be don't give them.
Exactly. Marshmallows melt.
Yeah. And don't send a ton of stuff.
Yeah.
One year I did shoe boxes for each day for my son.
Oh.
Everything came back intact.
Yeah.
I was like, so forget that. But don't just write a letter either, because I did that for my twins a few years ago, and my son said, it was nice that I got a letter, but why wasn't there a present?
Yeah.
So now I put at least a little something physical in there, even if it's like the liquid IV thing, the powder that they could add to their drink, right?
So I was that parent that showed up at registration and did not know that mail was a thing. So I very quickly used the purchase from the training post, and we'll have envelopes and pouches and things like that for impromptu mail. The best mail I've seen for a lot of our campers is maybe a book, a coloring book, with a couple pencils, crayons, melts.
Yeah, pencils or markers.
Pencils and markers are wonderful. Candy if you like, a Gatorade if you like, the liquid IV is fantastic, or any of those variations.
Or a little flashlight tchotchke kind of thing.
The most fun one was actually a joke book that Casey Peters got.
Oh, nice.
So they spent the entire week challenging each other on who had the best jokes. None of them were good. It was a week-long challenge. However, the best mail I saw from a parent happened in 2016. And this parent stuck a note in their kid's day pack. And it was just say, hey, glad you're having a great time. Okay. The next day, he starts telling a story about this deer that wandered into their front lawn. And the shenanigans of this deer. The next day, mom saw the deer and couldn't believe that this deer was daring to eat her flowers. So she started spraying water at the deer to try to get it to go away, and the squirrel came out and stopped that deer. And then the next day, when the squirrel was finally moving away, a raccoon came out. And it was this amazing story that they wrote. And it covered over the course of the day. It got just bigger and bigger. And at the end of the day, the deer came into the house, sat at the table, used a fork and knife. Not sure how that worked out. Was quite polite in drinking water. They said, thank you for your hospitality, and went on their way. But it was a fantastic story that was just kind of threaded throughout the whole thing. So, for our more creative parents, I'm not that parent, so it's something to think about.
And you know your kids best.
Exactly.
My daughter loved the silly notes that I had my husband write. I was like, I moved everything else for camp, you're writing the notes. She didn't really care about the stuff. My son was like, where's the item? I need the physical item. So do what you know your kid will appreciate to cheer them up and make them feel happy, not something that will make them homesick.
So we want to stay away from sending pictures from home. Do not send any pictures of it. We did have one parent who sent a family picture and said, please put this under your tent because we miss you so much. Oh, that poor kid. Miserable the entire week. It was heartbreaking to watch this poor child. Yeah. Any letters from home are for you to show your excitement. I can't wait to hear about your story.
How was the PD range? Did you hit a bullseye in archery yet?
Or did you get the cowbell at the rock range?
Yes.
There are some bragging rights with that cowbell.
Yes.
Okay, so any letters I'm not good with the letters because I just don't take the time to do them. So I just write out a joke that's team related. Last time I think it was the Out of This World. That's some horrible bad jokes, but you know what? My kids came home repeating those things because they, so many dad jokes. And they shared with the rest of the camp. But mail call is a really big deal because our youth staff has it out, And oh my God, if your den leader or your den chief is the one who calls your name, it is. Those angels came out and sang hallelujah at them. I mean, it is a big deal for the little ones. Then we have lunch, which is always phenomenal. Dinner talk. Sorry, that's my favorite. And then we do our afternoon rotation. So they'll have rotation all day long. Every evening, they get some time. There's some free time because our adults who are volunteering do need a chance to collapse in exhaustion.
They need camp meal too.
And I will say yes. If you have an adult who's going to camp, send them some mail. It's always nice for them. If you know, it's.
You looked over at me like, yes, okay.
My husband sends me mail every year.
Just half what she needs is not camp appropriate for when she gets home.
So every night of camp we have an evening activity. Tuesday night we do our opening campfire, and our youth staff is responsible for that campfire. This year's group is decent. They're learning. This year's group is learning for campfires. So it's all about the cuts. You guys are going to make it so much better than our youth staff. And they'll help you guys get there.
I know, Catherine and Clara are in drama. They're all
Yeah,
about
but
it.
that's just the two of them.
Yeah.
I have a whole group there.
Carol wasn't in shape.
On Wednesday night, we have the nighttime dance flow party. DJ Jazzy Matt, who you met earlier, Mr. Pomfret. So DJ Jazzy Matt and Fresh Louise, for anybody who understands the reference, thank you. They put on a full dance show. What?
You're dropping beats.
Well, you know, they put on a full dance show. There are strobe lights going, there's a fog machine going, they have a full music list.
Black light, glow stick.
Yeah, the black light. I think I've got about 400 glow sticks in my car right now. Okay, but now face painting has been requested again. So I was promised no war paint this year because that's hard to get off. Yeah, to wipe off. They did war paint. What was it? You remember that year?
Yeah.
It was 5 or 6 years ago.
Well,
And
yeah, we
they
didn't need to wash
painted-
off stuff.
Yeah, so we do wipe the stuff on each show, and the high baller jacket and all of that stuff. On Thursday night, there's a movie night for the kids. So we pick out our favorite inappropriate movies. We have popcorn, we get iced hot chocolate.
That's when everyone's covered treasure island.
And they get an evening to relax. While they're doing that, our youth staff gets a nighttime swim. And it is their highlight because they're working hard all week long. It's their chance to clean off a little bit. I'm not gonna lie. They need it. So that's our Thursday night. Friday is our Cub Scout campfire. Where you guys are the stars of the show. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
This is the best night of all.
And this year, the parents are going to be there for it.
So that's always fun. But we do have evening activities all week long. There is a oh my God, the word just failed me. Cracker Barrel. Cracker Barrel after the evening activity. Just enough sugar to motivate them to brush their teeth and then get to their tent and collapse from the day.
Yes.
So it is
Well, movie night Cracker Barrel is during the movie.
Yeah.
But, yeah. I've been trained how to make the iced hot chocolate. I have a sweet tooth, and my teeth were hurting while I was making it.
It is a camp special. It only happens at resident camp one night. So you will never, that's the only way to experience that hot chocolate. Okay? On Tuesday for resident camp, we have a short window for you guys to arrive. So you guys will be parents. You're going to be met at the gate with your passport. Every single piece of that passport has to be signed, and then you need to go. You're not going to set a tent with your scouts. You are not going to be there for any of that. Our youth staff will be helping them set up their tent as dens. So we love you, but you're going to have to go. We're not doing it to be entirely mean, but it's part of the growth process for the kids. So,
tiger there, so I have to.
You have to stay. You have a tiger. You're different.
So,
You get to stick around.
parking now? Am I going to be down at the bottom of the hill again?
No. There should
It
be.
depends how many spots there are.
Exactly. So we'll try to get you up to the upper lot with the staff cars. If not, we'll be able to have you in the lower lot, but not on the road.
Okay.
Yeah, wasn't it at the drop off?
Said 8:30.
Yeah, I want to say it's after 8:30, but gone by, our opening ceremony starts at 10.
All these details are in the digital packet. Yeah, this is a printout of it. We'll send a follow-up email after that because not everyone could make it, and we'll have a link to it. But we had some staffing issues this week, and the person who could give us the registration list via email everybody didn't get us the list till tonight.
8:30 a.m. is the earliest you can drop off.
Question about pickup. Is
Yes.
there still can the kids stay Friday night?
Yes.
Okay, so we can
Yes.
pick up.
If you want to pick up your scout on Friday night, you are more than welcome to do that.
That's the Cub Camp. We love it, Cub Camp.
Love that.
Come and run.
So 8:30 a.m. drop off. By 10 o'clock, the parents are gone. Because by then, the kids have already found their den, except for you, so you have to stay. And they start their morning flag.
And so if we come with stuff already filled out, it's
Even
like-
better.
I mean, like, because
Throw it at us.
crazy.
I'd say it takes like 30 minutes though to
Okay.
lock the whole thing.
That's fine.
So maybe
If
that's
I had to be there for an hour and a half, that would be a
30
problem.
minutes.
No.
Oh, yeah.
If you get there when we open, we'll send you, and if somebody's not ready and you can go out of order to get it, it'll be fine.
No, you'll get your passport as soon as you have that passport. You can come. You will not be allowed to leave if that passport is not filled out.
What is on?
It hits each of the different stations that you need to go
Like
to.
turning in the med form,
Turning in the med form, going to the
dropping off the
training post
tent
for mail.
and gear, all that stuff.
Exactly. Going to the kitchen, in particular, if there are food allergies, but also going through there is making sure that all the forms are turned in. And we do take a picture of your scout that morning. Pretty much. Yeah, it's for the just in case. I know that sounds horrible, but.
we give you the right kids out.
Exactly. So we return them to Alfred. You never know who you're going to home.
Yes.
So.
Yes, you or an authorized person must take your child home every day at day camp and at the end of resident camp.
Now, do they have to show ID?
At day camp, we do have people show ID.
If you come to visit our resident camp, for example, on Friday night, we love that we're on Friday afternoon, evening, preferably dinner, or whatever works, we can make it work. You do come to the camp office to get a wristlet so that we know you're supposed to be at camp.
Or the visitor necklace.
So you get something to indicate that you're supposed to be there. Yes.
So you're saying families can come Friday to go to this last camp, I remember, and then they would go home and then pick their kid up Saturday?
That is up to you. You can take them home on Friday or on Saturday. You are welcome to come to Friday. You do not have to be there on Friday. So that's optional.
Would it be helpful if you knew so that you can make sure all the things are
That's
together?
one of the questions that we'll ask at check-in.
Is there a curfew with the resident camp? Or what is it?
Quiet hours are at 10 or 10:30. I want to say that they're quiet after that. I'd be lying if I said after that. But everybody all the kids, the cubs are in their tents. They're down for the count-ish. Youth staff still has their staff meeting to debrief the day and talk about the next day. Now, there is a group of the older kids who cowboy camp every night with the Cub Scouts. So the Cubs are just thrown to the wolves. I promise.
Is there like a quiet? Because our guy, like if it's 8:30 or 9 o'clock and he's like, I gotta go to sleep, and he goes and it's too loud, he's gonna have a bad day the next day. Is there like a quiet zone?
It doesn't really.
It's not that it's loud, it's that sometimes they're chatting when you're not.
Because I was at this family camp with
No.
their.
That's a whole.
It was out of control.
No. We have nowhere near those numbers.
No.
Yes.
No.
The whole camp will have like 100 people in it.
Yeah.
100. Yeah.
We don't. That will be a problem.
Tracy?
Because I just have my son who works on a different, council. Will he stay with another scout, or how is it?
So that'll, does he have his own tent? Then bring his tent. So what has happened in the past, and this happened with all of my kids, they set up on their own with their den, and then they make a camp buddy, and I'm gonna go sleep in their tent. And then the next day, we're all gonna pile into somebody else's tent. And the day after that, they'll realize, oh, you guys are out. I'm gonna go back to my tent. And they tent hop. The only restriction on that is all the youth protection guidelines. No more than 24 months of age difference from the oldest to the youngest. And no boys or girls.
How do you group them then?
They're by rank. So my tigers, wolves, and bears will be all together because there's so few of each of them. There for sure will be one weebelos, one arrow of light den. Most likely 2 of each, if not 3 arrow of light, 1 weebelos. So it changes every year just based on who registers. And it's the same basic breakdown for day camp.
We group the dens by rank because the requirements are based on rank.
And are they usually like with their pack?
Yes, we keep packs together unless a parent has very specifically said, please do not put these 2 together because they will just, nobody will get anything done because they will just mess around all day.
If you know about a dynamic like that, it'd be awesome.
Yeah.
We had some frenemies last year at day camp.
Yeah.
Speaking of, there's 6 AOLs from our pack.
Okay.
So we were talking about, do we just send 2 tents? But like, they don't all need to bring a tent if we have. Right?
Yeah, that's
so
fine.
Absolutely.
Yeah, the one exception to the kids setting up the tents was last year. There was a dad who brought his gigantic tent. Of course, all the AOL girls to the tent together.
But they had planned that ahead.
Yeah, they planned that very far.
And there was one den that did that.
Yeah, they were all in the tent together.
Just make sure the tents are labeled. Like, just put a tag on it for what pack you're with. Because how we're going to do setup this year is a little bit different. Normally we have parents help. This year we don't want the parents to help. We want the youth staff to be the ones helping.
You can set your own setup the way you want it.
So each rank will get their own section to tent in, and each all of my kids are in big kids, not cuts, scouts. But each den will set up as a patrol. So the youth staff will be charged with helping each den set up as a patrol. So it will be a little bit different, hopefully less chaotic. I make no promises about that, but they'll be set up with their group. So if you've got kids who are different ranks and you want them to tent together, we will need to know about that at registration. Otherwise, somebody's cowboy camping all we want. Yeah.
I'm guessing in the handbook there's a list of things that they can and cannot bring.
Yes, there's a packing list and a do not bring list.
Snorkels and hammocks and like things that he's going to want. 18 stuffed animals.
And if it's in his bag and he can carry it himself, he can bring all the stuffies he wants.
Yes, but he will be the one keeping track of that. There is a recommended equipment and things to leave at home. Now, there's one new activity at camp this year, and it is for the bears, weebelos, and arrow of light. They're going to complete their whaling chip and their knife safety.
The knife electives that replaced Twitter.
Well, no. Bears still have a whaling chip as part of the loop. That's
But they got it's the same requirements, but they got rid of the whittling chip.
Yes, but they still call it that as part of the adventure.
They're doing knife safety.
They're doing their knife safety.
So they're going to take camp too.
You said 2 adventures or 2 others?
That's one of the things that they'll do. We will be following all of the safety protocol that comes into place, which is one-on-one learning. So now, they are not allowed to bring a knife from home. Let me say that one more time. They are not, and I say it, I'm going to say it twice, they are not allowed to bring a knife from home because we have had a Cub Scout bring a knife from home. They were sent home on Friday, weren't they?
Oh, no, that was an unfortunate event with our youth
staff.
Oh, that was a youth staff member.
Inappropriately using their knives, and as a director, I had to step in. Yeah.
So 2 years ago, we did,
It was 900.
3 years ago. 2 years ago, 21. We had one Cub Scout try to bring it. We found the pocket knife and sent it home with mom and dad. If all goes well, they will be going home with a mock pocket knife that they will be using for part of their adventure. Those will not be handed to the Cubs to carry around. They will be put into their, here are the things that you made in your bag, and mom and dad will be handed a bag of their takeaways, and it will include that pocket knife.
Can I add something with the packing list? As a mom who trained my kid early to, here's what you need, here's the list, go get it, put it in your bag, go get it, put it in your bag, go get it. As a Cub Scout, from the minute he went to camp, right? As a scout, he did an overnight camp in like they made igloos. He went to Alaska. He is so independent and capable now because I made him at an early age do that with me. There's stories about scouts whose parents pack everything, and my favorite one is up in Mammoth. They're out hiking, and later the Forest Service is calling this parent saying, is your child, like alive, or are they home? And it's like the kid was jettisoning extra stuff and it was too heavy to pack it. I'm serious! And so I was wearing jeans here and a shirt. The Forest Service did not know if the bear got him or what, right? So that's why, and that was a scout. He should have known better. I know.
Have them help pack so they'll know where their uniform shirt is and where their flashlight is, where their toothbrush is.
None of the adults or the youth staff will be allowed to go into their tent. None of us. So they will be on their own to find what they need. It's always exciting to watch that happen. So please have them be an active participant of packing their bag. James, did you have a question for me?
No.
Okay.
I think it was about knives.
Oh.
I have so many questions
So,
about knives now.
I'm going to interject a little about day camp here. We're going to do the knife skills at day camp also both weeks. We're going to have the same theme for both weeks at day camp, but we will have some variation in the activities. There are a few kids who are doing both weeks. Anything that does repeat, they're not going to care because they're going to cut different food and make a different salsa. Maybe they'll see one favor the other, things like that. So they'll have a great time either way. And we do have a trading post at day camp also. It's not a rotation, it's during lunchtime. Each den gets a chance to go up and go to the trading post.
For starting with safety. Joy and I are the perfect examples of what shoes not to wear at camp.
Mine are closed-toed. They're okay for going to the pool.
What was that?
These are okay for going to the pool.
That is not going to the pool, on the pool.
On the pool deck.
That's one of the new rules.
They changed it?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. So I'm
wearing my Merrill version of Crocs.
Yeah. And I'm wearing track boots because that's what I wear year-round,
Except
rain or snow, except at camp, where I have my tennis shoes that are actually in my bag in the back, but I don't like them. I wear them at studio. They have to have closed-toe shoes. They do not have to be hiking boots. They don't need to be. Please do not send brand new shoes.
Yeah.
The shoes that still fit.
Yeah. Still fit, stay on.
And are thrashed from the school year. Those are their camp shoes.
Yeah. But not so bad that they're going to fall apart before the end.
Well, no, because
they're going to be on their feet a lot. So we don't want them getting blisters and stuff.
No.
So.
But if they do fall apart, I have duct tape and curly tape.
She knows how to use duct tape.
Gen X, I'm not opposed to duct tape on my shoes.
Yeah.
That was a thing for us, so we will fix it. But they have to have closed-toed shoes. To come to the pool, they need to have closed-toed shoes. Make sure they have a bag for the pool. It can be just a reusable bag. Does it need to be a fancy this is your bag. No, it's just.
And actually, as you're packing, it could be a good idea to go, here's your tote bag that has your towel and your swimsuit, so just pull this out when it's the first time.
Or on the pool deck, they can wear flip-flops, they can wear water shoes, they can wear Crocs of any variety.
Is there swimming at day camp?
There's not swimming, but we will have a water area outside where there will have like challenges that they need to complete that involve water. It's hot enough that they don't need like a change of clothes or anything like that. They'll dry out. You're not going to send them in their Sunday best anyway, so.
Send them in socks. I know that sounds weird. And for resident camp, send in a, please send in enough clothes for every day, plus an extra one pairs of socks.
Yeah, extra socks, extra underwear for sure.
I can almost promise you that you're going to get most of that clothes back clean.
Oh, yeah.
And a dirty clothes bag. And if you can do Ziploc bags or packing cubes or something for the clean clothes, they might possibly stay in there and not get dirty until they're warm. Maybe.
So we won't allow them to wear their swim trunks or anything other than the pool equipment. One of those lines under the rules like you talking about. It's imperative that they know that, and that they will be asked to change out of it once they're done at the pool into regular clothes again, and they can't wear it beyond the pool or before the pool.
Yeah, that is a big one. We'll have the older kids set up clotheslines. They're not always functional. They often fall right into the anthill or into the mud.
There might be enough fences for the towels this year.
With all the ants.
Yeah.
So, but we'll have the big kids set up a clothesline so that they can hang their trunks, swim trunks, and bathing suits to dry. I will say, my youngest son, we went as on staff. He came with me. He was a tiger. Itty bitty miniature little thing. He came with 7 Ziploc bags in his duffel bag, and each Ziploc had his shorts, his undershirt, and a t-shirt, clean underwear, clean socks. He brought 6 of them home. Mentira. 5 were untouched. The 6th one had the socks pulled out. His socks went into a mud pile. So he pulled the socks out because he knew he needed to put socks on. It is not uncommon, but his scout uniform, the blue one, he rubbed the color right off the collar because he sweat so much that week. And it took the color clear off. So it gets warm. If they are right, a little bit of chlorine in the hair.
So t-shirts for sure, not tank tops, because we want the sun protection. Rash guards are a great idea for the pool, because you don't have to worry about as much sunblock.
Should they bring their uniforms to wear?
Yeah, they can. They only wear uniforms if they have them with them for evening class.
And we try to wear them for the campfire.
Well, because they don't change after dinner, for the most part. Our youth staff is required to do it because it's optional. If you send their scout uniform with them, make sure it's so clearly labeled inside. Because as they share tents and tent hop, a lot of clothes gets mixed up, and we try to keep track of who's tenting with which other kid, so that you all can figure out at home. I have 18 pairs of socks. I only send 5. I've got the 35 T-shirts that came up to camp. I don't know who they are.
I always find your kids clothes at camp.
Because my kids are tiny.
And one thing I finally encouraged my son to do, because he hates changing his clothes. He doesn't want to change into pajamas at night or anything. And I'm like, hey, wait. He has to change into his swimsuit to go in the pool. So I'm going to tell him, after swimming every day, that's when he should put his clean clothes on. And then he can wear them till the next day when they go swimming, because he's willing to change into his swimsuit, even though he doesn't want to change any other time. And it worked. So he actually changed his clothes because he had to change into a swimsuit and then back into regular clothes. And so that might be a suggestion for your child. After swimming, that's when you put clean clothes on. And you can
put the dirty clothes back on. So they may just come home with, and often When we got home from camp, it was just, okay, we're in the entry of our apartment, just strip down, and that coat goes in the trash. And we just go to take it back. So, bug spray. So I always bring Picardin bug spray and bug lotion. There's no DEET.
DEET's useless at CBO.
Yeah, yeah, that's cute. That's cute as I can. So we will have bug spray that we will spray on the kids. If there's one that you like, send it for your child. We'll have sunblock there. If there's a specific one you like, send it with your child. Our youth staff is good about making sure that they apply and reapply and reapply and reapply.
On the cubs at least, not on themselves.
No, not on themselves. My child probably was putting sunscreen on yesterday. That child came home with a wonky bed of sunburn. Because he didn't want to put anything, he can't reach his back. So his back, bright red. His arms, nice, pale. Fingerprints on his collarbones. I'm not going to do that.
Yeah. But the Picardin Sawyer sells both a lotion and a spray. That is the best stuff for CBO. That's what works. You can go on Amazon, you can go to REI.
Picard, I'll send it to you.
Yeah.
Anything that deals with black flies, that's what we have, are black flies.
Yeah.
And they bite.
And the bites are not fun. Yeah.
So, Picardin. And Picardin doesn't destroy gear like DEET does.
If you want to go super fancy, at REI and on Amazon, permethrin. There's a permethrin spray. Set up your tent, hang up your clothes outside, spray it down with this stuff. Hottest part of the day. Let it dry. I always do a second coat just because that's fun use for me. Once it dries, it's good for about one season. Your clothes get washed, your tent doesn't get washed. Your clothes get washed, it's still protected. Permethrin is a bug repellent. It works.
Yeah, it's safe for clothes.
It does work. And
I gotta pull mine back out and do that.
Yeah. Okay, so do you guys have any questions for us?
For the day camp, are they allowed to cross and also some shoes and
I would recommend against Crocs, just because they can come off and the kids are going to be running around crazy, roughhousing. They're going to be, they're going to be pushing the limits, right, of the roughhousing and the running. And we don't want the shoes coming off and getting lost and being a distraction. So honestly, the elastic laces or Velcro shoes would be the best. But whatever's going to stay on them, and they'll be able to just play and have a good time.
The problem with Crocs too is if they get worn out, the tread, they are slicker than snakes now. And you can fall and hurt yourself in ways you don't even know.
Yeah, and there are stairs. They're going to be going up and down. So a shoe that fits well and is comfortable is the way to go for both camps.
And I will say I have seen one had injury, more than one, but one with pencils that they took a step and the pencil went right through one of the holes in the front of the frog. You can imagine the damage it did to that kid's foot. I've seen it at the Solitary Valley with sticks on the ground, but I also saw it with tennis shoes. So I would advise against this.
Yeah.
Just because I've seen they don't soak any liquids into them. So when you pour it out, it all comes running out.
Yeah. And then they'll need hats for sure for both camps. They're not going to spend a lot of time outside at day camp because we have an air-conditioned 2-story building at St. Dominic's that we can use. But they will be outside. The water areas on the asphalt. We set up tents, pop-up tents. You know, the 10 by 10.
Please, a sun hat for resident camp.
Yes.
It gets hot. A sun hat, baseball caps work. The back of their neck will fry.
Just leave their uniform hat at home and have them bring some sort of floppy hat.
On the neckerchief, slide, squeeze the bejesus out of the little problems on the back, because that is the single thing we find the most of at the end of camp.
You could probably outfit a large hat.
It's like, I don't really belong to. So squeeze it real tight.
Can you talk about wildfire protocol?
Yes. So every single adult and staff member at resident camp will have a job to do, and that is something we discuss on our right before we come up to camp. If there is a fire, we track it the second a spark flies.
Even miles and miles away.
Yeah.
And so, we have the best neighbors ever.
Yeah. We have the fire, the ranger station is right next to us, so they
the guys that fight the wildfires are right across the property line.
Exactly.
They'll be teaching the older scouts how to set fires and put them out, and they will let us know. They look out for camp. They love us. We give them all the leftover food at the end of the week, so they take good care of us. Any issue, like
so we do
even something beyond what I can do, first aid emergency wise.
We
they're
always make sure that there are enough seatbelts available at camp to evacuate if necessary. While that is all happening, there is protocol in place to make sure that parents are informed as to where to meet, because until you get a call from camp or from council, do not come up, because we're not sure where that fire is. We'll take a different route to get back to where we need. So, but we do, part of our 900 rules is having enough seatbelts for everybody at camp.
And the Forest Service will also help us evacuate the campers.
Yes.
We have a plan, a safety plan for every possible scenario you can think of.
Yeah.
And it's written down in our staff training, and that's part of why, we have those, I literally, and I'm not joking, the 900 plus, standards, so that you are secure in your thought of leaving your kid with us. We know what to do if there's a lightning storm, if there's an active shooter, if there's a windstorm.
Even the youth staff do hazardous weather training and safe swim defense and all of that.
So we have you so well protected. Probably the things can't be very good. I hope and pray that every year that we continue to do the same excellent job we've always done for our scouts.
And we didn't mention this yet, but we have an amazing camper to staff ratio. I don't know exactly what it is this year, but it's often one cub per staff member, because we have so many youth staff.
But the thing about our youth staff and everything that we do here, I know several scouts that have gone through our program and got hired at other scout camps to work there because of what they learned at our camp, and they are so highly valued by those camps. Oh, they came from CBO? Oh, we find more.
Two of our youth staff members are staffing with us. Summer.
My son went to Forest Lawn when he was 15 and volunteered for the summer. He didn't get enough at camp, so.
Any other questions before the others come back and we wrap the meeting? Yeah.
The day camp, how many homeschools?
And Matt, we're going to send a new
Your med form, one copy, A. For day camp.
2 pages of B.
Yes, and A, B1, B2.
Yeah.
And it can't be digital, but I would highly recommend scanning it and keeping it, but it can't, we have to have a hard copy.
Yeah.
And we are not supposed to print them for you. There are HIPAA violations all around there when that happens. In a dire emergency, however, please bring a printed copy.
Sorry, of the health form?
Of your health form.
Yes, bring a printed copy with you. Yeah. And make Form C. You keep the original and bring us a photocopy.
Send the original.
And yeah.
Sure.
Should scouts bring toilet paper?
No. I appreciate the question. I appreciate it, but no, we got you covered on toilet paper.
Yeah.
And on paper towels.
Yeah. And soap and hand sanitizer. Now, if you already have a personal first aid kit, you may bring that with you.
Yes.
You should bring that.
As long as there's no little knife in there.
Okay.
For the Saturday pickup, at what time would that be? I'm just there all day long,
So it used to be, I took it out. If you're picking up on Saturday, we used to always say 10 a.m.
So at about, I will say, we will have an interfaith worship service on Saturday morning with our cups. This is one of the requirements for a communications merit badge for our scouts. So the scouts are there meeting requirements for their own advancement and program. So we will have an interfaith worship service. During that, it's about 10, 15 minutes, not long. But during those 10, 15 minutes, we will not be breaking down camp, and we will not be checking anybody out. Okay? So, but that happens right after breakfast. So, and breakfast is early. Early for camp.
And can you also touch on some of the other youth protection policies you guys have?
If you've done youth protection training, we follow it to the letter. Our youth staff has to do the camp youth protection training, so our youth staff has completed that training as well. So you're not allowed near our camp if you have not completed that at all.
And we use the buddy system.
Buddy system.
At all times.
Separate adult bathrooms, all that stuff.
My favorite, there are some adults who you know that they're at camp because of what you hear. And you know I'm at camp because all you hear is, who's your buddy? Where's your buddy? No, where's your buddy? No, I'm not kidding, where's your buddy?
Go back and get your buddy.
Go back and find your buddy. Go and get, who's your buddy?
So even the adult,
Our youth staff does, our adults do not. But our youth staff is also paired up and has, every station has at least 2 youth staff members, sometimes 3. Each den has 2 youth staff members plus an adult. The rest of the stations have 2 youth staff plus an adult, sometimes a third. Like our pool, and we also match that with female to male.
And you can see everything except the archery range from all the other places.
Yes.
Have you been to CBO before? Yeah.
So,
you know, you can see everything.
everything.
Yeah. Is there anything in particular you're concerned about? Okay, yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
And staff also have radio communication abilities between, different, so we're always in contact with each other. Like if there's a protocol for the missing scout, there's all sorts of ways of communicating so that we make sure that nobody is violating any of the rules.
And that's my biggest thing. I'm assuming if a camper requests to call at home, that is allowed.
Sort of. We do have a different protocol in place for the camper who wants to call home, who wants to go home. It's first a discussion, they talk with that heart with their den chief. Then the den leader will come in and have that heart to heart. Eventually they come to me, but then if it really is bad, we ask them to write a letter home. My husband and I are the ones who drive off camp to mail that letter. So I keep stamps in my car. And often the scout gets home before the letter gets there. But they know that they see that we're kidding, we're fine, we actually do mail those out. We try to keep the calls to home as a non-starter because that feeling of being homesick then can just grasp them and it makes it a harder experience for them. Generally, it'll be
easily distracted.
Yes. And all the youth staff are trained to that. When we interview them, we ask them what they would do.
So by Wednesday nights, usually where we see most of the kids are going to be a little homesick on Thursday. And by Friday, they're kind of like, well, thank God I haven't go.
Yeah.
Because
We're
on Thursday,
starting to run out of time. So anyone who's just day camp, if you want to head back to that room and go ahead and pick up your shirt,